So I did have a little tripod, so I'll probably set it up here on the lathe and point it down at myself, and hopefully you can see what's going on, because it's time for the big moment, new springtime. Okay, I got something I want you to see. What the fuck, man? This pinch seam is in the way, so I can't remove the spring. I can't pull the bolt out. So I'm going to have to fucking crimp over that pinch seam, which kind of pisses me off, because, well, that's not exactly great for the car, but, hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? Anger management by working on cars. Okay, so by now you've probably seen I've got the spring is in place. So getting that in, I don't know if you could see what I was doing, but I had to take my rear lift shackle. I scooched it up like that so I could get the other one out. And then when I got this one sort of in place, the pin was still kind of back this way a little bit. So what I did was I just took my screwdriver, stuck it in here, because this side's a little bit lower because the other spring's still connected. And I just kind of pulled it up a little bit, and every time it did that, it would shift the spring a little bit more forward until I could get the pin in place. So now all I need to do is clean the bolts up, put the new U-bolts on, and I'm done with this side. One thing is the way the U-bolt actually goes through this hole right here, and getting that with that hard brake line was a little bit difficult. I kind of wanted to make sure I didn't like snag or screw up the brake line, and this probably would have been a little bit easier if I could drop the axle a little bit further, but I didn't want to screw up my actual brake lines on the rear axle here. So I kind of stretched them a little bit when I was getting ready to go, but there's a little bit of slack on it, not much, but that's about as low as I'm comfortable going at the moment. So, but now that this spring is in place, I don't really need to worry about it, because the other side I can drop a lot lower without having to stretch this line. So that was kind of part of the reason why I wanted to do this one first. So anyway, back to the work. Another thing I did, I went and got new U-bolts. These were kind of a pain in the ass to track down. I ended up getting them from a place called Atlas Spring that actually made them up right on site for, I don't know, about $10 each. So, yeah, about $40 in U-bolts here. I think my other ones are probably reusable. The bolts on it are still tight, but... Okay, so pretty much what I'm doing right now, I'm just trying to get that front bolt aligned. It's been a huge pain in the ass, so I'm just going to stop the video for a little bit and get this handled, so I still got some space and some battery left. Okay, so after a little bit of struggle, I ended up having to lift the axle off the pin, or lift the spring off the axle, in order to get this to line up. Got that bolt in. Now I'm back here trying to get this one in. I think I'm going to do this one before I do the U-bolts. I know I'm going to have to go through and retorque this a couple of times during driving, so I'm just trying to get everything kind of lined up. The pin is currently in the axle, so that's good. I just need to get that plate reinstalled. And but first, I think I'm going to try to get this one done. So it's been a little bit difficult, but nothing out of the ordinary. It's just a thick Rancho lift shackle. I'm going to go on a front row seat. I have no idea if you're pointed in the right direction. I'll put you over here. Hopefully you won't get smashy. Very scientific alignment process. Using this specialty precision tool. Looks like we're close enough. So one note about these things, hopefully you're not seeing too much sun there. One note about these bolts here, I've seen them done both ways, so either bolt comes this way or bolt goes that way. I don't know what the right way is, but when I originally put these lift shackles on, this is the way the bolts were set up. I figure if something goes wrong, maybe that'll retain them more than the other method, because they'll run up against this. I don't know. I don't know that it matters. It probably doesn't. But that's the way I did it, so there's that. Yeah. As long as I'm under here, remember, this thing has zerks. Yep, there's a zerk fitting right there. So I'm going to grease that up once everything's a little bit more back together. Okay, so my neighbor's taken off. And we're going to start on the other side. He's going to go get some lunch, so hopefully he doesn't run over me when he gets back. That's his ride. I already got the, I know it's a 21, but I can put a 22 on there to just stop it from spinning on me. So we'll do that one, get the rear bolt off, and then we'll do the front one, and then we'll do the U-bolts. You can see that. Sun. So the fun thing about this one, the fucking exhaust pipes look like. And I don't remember if I ever broke this other side loose. This one's probably going to be a little bit tough. I should have hit that with the PV blaster first. So one trick I found on the other side, if I use a little extension, that'll kind of allow me to get this in there, turn it without the flavor leakage. I dropped the shock. I'm going to move this so I don't crush the camera with the spring. Hopefully you'll still be able to see what I'm doing. Yeah, I gotta get my precision wood. See, precision wood. Okay, so we move the shackle forward so the spring comes up. And we don't have to use a big breaker bar for that. See as I work on this side. God damn. I don't know why I didn't do that last time. That would have made everything a lot easier. Yeah, well, let's go clean up these bolts. U-nuts, lug nuts, suspension bolts. One thing I didn't do last time, I'm going to start off with this time. I'm going to go right to that bolt hole. That's the one with the rub some grease in there. Some people like to use anti-seize for this. I just use grease, honestly, because I take things apart so often. And also because where this is, I actually want this whole shaft greased. So I filled up the eyelet hole over there with grease. And probably in the next month or two, I'm going to get around and I'm going to putting a greasable bolt in here, so that way this joint is always greased. That'll help cut down on rust. And just kind of make everything last longer. So I just jacked up the other side a little bit and then dropped the axle over here. Hopefully now, if I don't want no fuss, I can line that up. So something that's already kind of fun here. These new springs have so much more juice in them than the old ones did. That like just jacking it up a couple inches, the axle up a couple inches over there, actually almost started lifting the car off the jack stand. So I gotta be really careful about that, because I don't want to drop the car when I've got one side with no springs. Ow. I don't know why I didn't do that forever ago. And no wheels. That's just dumb. Oh my God, did you see that? I didn't even have to fight. So the only one thing that's a little bit weird about this, they gave me one different washer. Not like mixed bag, just one. Maybe there's a significance to this I'm unaware of. Okay, so my camera battery died. Shocked. I don't know how much of it I got, but I've got this one in. I just need to finish torquing everything down, and then it's pretty much ready to go. I think the next thing I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to take and boost up the axle and put the shock absorber back on this side. Then I'll go ahead and do it on the other side. So, sorry if I missed anything important. I can't think of anything that's extremely important that I didn't do on this side versus the other axle. Oh, you know what? One thing I wanted to do. Sit down real quick. Hold up. I was just doing there. I don't know how familiar you are with the Jeep drum brake system, but honestly, it is fucking terrible. Like, there's nothing good I can say about this thing. I don't know if it's just because it's an old system or what the deal is, but these things are generally pretty terrible. The adjustment system doesn't work very well. Even if you do adjust it regularly, it doesn't stay in adjustment. The automated adjustment system is done via this cable right here, which loops up here and is supposed to be captured beneath those springs. And then it loops down around here, and the idea is that as this thing moves, it'll move this little star wheel via this really kludgy as hell arrangement with that little adjuster thing. I've had nothing but problems with it over the years. It's largely a piece of garbage. At some point in the relatively near future, I'm going to be replacing it with a disc brake system. So one of the things I needed to do while I was in here was actually take a look and see which disc brake system I had in here, because that will start to tell me which parts I need. So one of the things I've seen is people who do like YJ conversions, you'll see this bolt here and then this bolt here, and the alignment is kind of trapezoidal. Now this one's a 1990 Jeep, so one of the things about it is I'm pretty sure this is a C-clip axle. It's Dana 35, and it had the ABS system. So I mean, really, as far as upgrades go, there's two options I have. One, I can go get a Chrysler 8.8, and that should come with the disc brakes. Honestly, for the amount of off-roading I do, which isn't a whole bunch, for the most part, I just need four-wheel drive for sand and a couple of other things. I don't do rock crawling, which is part of the reason why the spring pack I put on here is essentially just I believe this might actually be just a standard. I think when I bought it, it was supposed to be an HD. So it should give me a little bit more load carrying capacity. The lift shackles will give me about an inch, maybe two. And then I do have a set of spring bumpers I'm going to put up front at some point, or I'm going to replace the springs just to give myself more travel. I figure given the amount of headache it's going to be to go in and replace the springs, I may as well just put longer springs in it if I want some extra elevation. But if I do want to get a little bit more travel out of that, I'm going to have to take and do the lower control arms and actually put something that will give me more travel, as well as new shocks. Because right now the shocks are kind of the limitation on all of these things. So it does look like the bolt pattern here is the trapezoidal bolt pattern, which I was kind of hoping it wasn't, but I was fairly sure it was. Wow, that sounds like garbage. Actually, that's because the other brakes are dragging on the other side. So as long as I got the wheels off, I'm gonna just wanted to open that up and take a look. Now, one of the other things here, I totally realize that these shock absorbers are probably in dire need of replacement, but I think I'm going to hold off on that one for a little bit. Burp, burp, burp. 5 or 6 inches of clearance in there. Hopefully I haven't run out of memory. I probably will in a few minutes here. But ooh, still got a little bit of memory left. So yeah, still walk around. I still have to apply a little bit more torque. I don't think I took video or photos before I put these in, but I mean, I was maybe like that far, now I'm like that far. So yeah, as far as like a stock upgrade, that's awesome. It's gonna be weird driving this just because of the change in rake. So, but it looks like I'm probably gonna have to take and do the front spring upgrade quicker than I thought. Because yeah, it's got a fair amount. Well, maybe it's not as bad as I thought, but yeah, it's probably about 2 inches a difference now. Thanks for joining. Whew, I'm gonna cut this up, cut it apart, cut stuff out, speed stuff up. So hopefully you guys won't be sitting here. I don't remember what the time was, but I think this took about 3 hours. 3 hours for 2 leaf springs and all the other associated accoutrements. Not bad. Still got to clean up. Still got tools everywhere. Neighbor said he'd take the leaf spring, so I don't have to deal with it. I don't know if I'll do that, or maybe I'll use that for my trailer project, which is coming up. I'm going to go chill out for a little bit and then clean up. Thanks for watching.